Welcome to Adventures in Freeze Drying. Today we're going to try something new I have never done before. I want to make some cheese chips, like the size of a Cheez-It, but just cheese that you can have on a hike with you. You can have it saved in your pantry. You can have it saved for long-term storage because there's some good things in cheese that you might want in your diet. So hang with me. I've got 4 different types of cheese and we're going to get these prepped and loaded in my freeze dryer. Everything I've read about cheese tells me that cheese can be greasy. So I am using pre-cut parchment from Freeze Drying Supplies on my medium trays. I'm still in a 4-tray medium, but my large pro model is on its way. It will do twice as much as my old 4-tray medium, which I decided was enough more for me to be happy. So be watching because I'll have my unboxing and running through all those tests, cleaning, all that stuff very soon. But let's go ahead and get on with making these cheese chips. The first thing I'm going to try is actually using my slicer on this to try to keep my slices about the same size. This is a little long, so I'd probably cut this into 3 pieces from each slice, but let's go ahead and see how this works or if I need to cut this by hand. So I went ahead and I think the thickness of that is right. It's going to take some practice to get full pieces of cheese out of this, but I think this is what I'm going to do. For now, I'm planning to do 2 layers of each type of cheese. I have 4 types of cheese, and I'm going to put 2 layers on each tray, kind of spread out like so, turning these into kind of, like I said, that cracker size a little bit if I can. And I'll see you as soon as I'm done getting this all prepped. I have all 4 trays of cheese ready to go. I am going ahead and putting a sheet of parchment on top to help suck up any of that grease or oils that might come out of the cheese as it freeze dries. For the mozzarella, on the bottom sheet of parchment, I wrote the word mozzarella on the bottom of it. So it's not touching my cheese, it's touching the tray, but mozzarella and Monterey Jack look an awful lot alike. I am a huge believer in pre-freezing your food. I don't think I've ran more than maybe 3 loads that I didn't pre-freeze, but I am going to go ahead and we're going to put the cheese right into the freeze dryer, not pre-freezing it, and we're going to see how that does. It's been almost 15 minutes. My chamber's only down to 63 degrees, and normally with pre-frozen food, I would not put it in yet. I would let my machine keep running and get this down to temperature. But since my cheese isn't pre-frozen, I'm going ahead to put it in. Now would be a great time to go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Down below, you will also find links to the freezedryingcookbook.com where you can find all of my recipes along with Live Life Simples, and also the freezedryingsupplies.com store where I received and purchased my pre-cut parchment from. So we'll go ahead and get this started and we'll see you when it's done. It has been 16 hours since I put my cheese into my freeze dryer, not frozen, and I'm already almost 4 hours into my extra dry time. I've heard cheese is fast. Granted, I did not load this very heavy because I want to make sure I like it before I do a whole big load that's loaded heavy. So let's go ahead and get this out, and I'll meet you back in the kitchen. I noticed a couple things as I was taking this out. This is one of my white cheeses here. And I really don't see any grease or oil on this. I'm looking to see if I know if this is my mozzo. There's a little more on this second one where it was sitting. So this would be my Monterey Jack. But on my yellow cheeses, you can see there's grease or oil even in this top sheet of parchment here, and a lot between my 2 layers. So I do think it is a very good idea to get that parchment between those layers because those yellow cheeses seem to release a lot of oils. This one would be my mozzarella. Again, really nothing on this parchment, and I'm not seeing much for the parchment it's sitting on. A little bit maybe on that bottom parchment, but not as greasy. So long-term storage wise, your white cheeses, it looks like, might store longer. There's less greases. And again, with my Colby Jack, there's a lot more grease just on even this top piece of parchment and quite a bit soaked into the one between the layers. in that bottom layer one. So good idea to put that parchment down to collect some of that. I might even go ahead and pat some of these off with a paper towel here. When I fry up bacon, I normally put it on paper towels and then put some over it before I serve bacon. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to take these cheese chips and I'm going to get them patted down before we even try them or think about storing them. So again, quick snack, taking for a hike. These yellow cheeses are fine, but long term, I would still consider the white cheeses over any kind of yellow cheese. I have my plate of just cheese crackers or cheese chips, whatever you would like to call them. This is my matzo right here. Interesting, it almost goes to like squeaky cheese curds as I'm chewing on it, but yet it's crisp when I bite into it. Maybe these need a little more time in my freeze dryer. I might throw these back in. Either way, I'm not sure any of this would be super long-term storage. I think it is great for something here in the next year or two if you put this away. I would not count on this lasting 25 years in my storage. But a nice snack that's healthier than your Cheez-It. So overall, it's a win. Be careful and make sure it's really dry before you put it away. Thank you so much for joining me on Adventures in Freeze Drying, and we'll see you next time.